What?
Oh.
Which one is F minus?
All of them, apparently.
All the live
All
action
the live
ones?
action
I see.
ones. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Apparently,
We're going to start with Ben's hot takes, so it can only go up from here. So go ahead, Ben.
My hot take.
Well, so far they've all been pretty hot, so just keep talking.
Okay. So democracy is everyone's second form of favorite form of government.
Yeah. No.
Okay, we're talking about that.
Let's not get canceled. Let's focus on the topic at hand. So I was very happy that I was able to go on that tirade without the camera rolling. So
well, I saw
Democratic the audience to cancel us.
Right.
Well, I guess we're ranking all the dragon movies that we could think of. That is movies with
ones.
dragons in them.
All the
These
dragon
ones.
movies
Like
we
on the
can think
list.
of.
Okay,
And
Please.
one that
Okay.
randomly got found another time.
They were 10 movies that at least weren't straight to video, and we excluded their sequels. Okay, so we wound up with literally like 11 movies,
Are we
and
sure
10 of them
George and
made
the
the
Dragon
cut.
wasn't straight to movie to VHS?
Which one?
George
I
and the
don't
Dragon.
know.
Oh yeah.
Are we sure that wasn't?
So the ones that I picked,
Yeah, fuck that George and the Dragon thing. Who watched that?
I did.
I
the
didn't.
director apparently.
Cody
I mean,
did.
I was going to watch it, but yeah.
I was perfectly content with that cast being ridiculous enough that I will watch it someday, but not in time for this.
It was weird. That movie had like it was kind of campy fun, but also just like they could have done it better. Like they could have executed the whole thing a little bit better, but it had moments that were surprisingly okay. I don't know.
Back to that surprise.
I think that's the definition of this tier list. I think that's a lot of these movies, like, I mean, so Reign of Fire is kind of fresh, and it was one of my favorites on the list, like easily the top 2, and when I watched it again last night, and I was like, oh crap, this movie's 20 years old, and that doesn't mean that it looks 20 years old, but it kind of like takes you back a little bit. And then I was like, man, the story really was not that great.
Nope.
Yeah, I remember being
Like,
blown away by it when I was a kid, and then it's just like,
Yeah.
I thought there was more there, and now there
Exactly.
isn't.
Like your brain filled in a bunch of gaps in the story that just were not there. Like
You liked it 20 years ago when you're in your early 30s.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
The dye job is really working for me. I can tell. So, but
It's the kind of movie that if you don't watch it fresh, you think of it as like, yeah, it was great dragon action movie, and then you forget there's this whole middle part where it's just they reverted back to religion for some reason, and they're really big on sitting around and not doing all that much.
Well, yeah, I mean, it makes a little bit more sense, though, like, since we're on the topic that, Quinn was literally a child when it broke out, right? So, so a lot of his leadership qualities and ideas about how to run things come from being a kid who grew up 20 years in the apocalypse, So some of that I can kind of forgive him, but it was literally like oh no, it's the Americans, the only things that are worse than dragons, type of
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, it's a movie set in the UK and everything.
So this is,
man, we were really hoping it was Marauders, but fuck, it's Americans.
Is it at least an allegory or anything, or is it just like
no
typical mid-budget, drags in the middle, effects-driven movie that ran out of budget? It just doesn't have the money for it.
Every
I don't think
movie,
warehouses.
somebody will tell you it's an allegory towards the war. I'm sure. So
Is it like
you guys don't
is it
understand.
on the bad movie bingo, or they're like warehouses? Do you get that free space for warehouses, or like cheap sets, or like it's out in the forest some places? Or
It's in the UK, so it's in a castle. So
I was going to say,
is it one castle? Is it one castle?
Northumbria is probably a well-known castle.
And then it takes place in a burned out London. Like the ending, the climax does. So
London.
The best part of the movie is watching McConaughey be a fucking psycho, and that was the best part.
Pretty much every movie of his.
So it's kind of like a 30 Days Later sort of tier budget style movie. Okay, but it's with dragons now.
Higher.
Yeah. And the dragons killed the dinosaurs. So yeah. So they actually do some world building. Go ahead, Andreas.
The most interesting trivia for that movie is apparently the dragon work they did in that movie basically set the standard, and a lot of that is what we still use today for, like, the Game of Thrones dragons were largely based on the technology they did there.
Interesting. I did not know that, actually.
And it seems like the story for the last couple of years was based on this movie too.
Did the Americans show up with the whole Golden Army? And
Dude, if season 8 of Game of Thrones had Matthew McConaughey riding up with the tank to Winterfell on the
Would've
white
been
on the battle there, I would have been like, all right,
yeah,
They
this is only
saved
the
it.
second
They
worst thing.
saved
I
it.
could have
better than the alternative.
thought of. Right. That's funny.
So B tier, I think, is safe for this.
Yeah,
I mean, at least
Graded on the
It's
curve,
like a-
I guess.
it's a low.
I'd
B.
put it in A tier, but I'm perfectly happy to see it bounce down. It's,
Well, because
I like
the
it.
movie
but
was
it's not-
enjoyable, but it was also kind of dumber than I remember. They're like, it's just yeah.
I'm sorry. Which of these 10 movies did not have a healthy dose of dumb in it? So
Dragonheart.
yeah, really. Okay.
Appropriate
right
dumb
now,
is
I'm
okay. Like
telling
How
you
to
now.
Train
I
Your
have-
Dragon had appropriate dumb shit, and that's fine, and it was great, and that's but
How to Train Your Dragon is probably my favorite of the bunch.
great. But it
That's
has an
because you're a
appropriate
child.
dumb
How-
kid.
I
And
suppose
How to
so.
Train Your
Fair
Dragon
enough.
is partially propped up by Reign of Fire because it's Gerard Butler, they found him for Reign of Fire and then typecast him as the guy who hunts dragons, I guess.
I was actually surprised about how good the casting was in Reign of Fire. I've forgotten that there was actually
Right.
decent
wasn't-
There's a
actors in it.
bunch of people in that movie.
Yeah. Matthew McConaughey, of course, was like their A-lister, but oh crap.
By today's standard, then they're pretty
Christian
good names.
Bale?
Like,
Christian
Yeah.
Bale.
McConaughey,
But they were literally
Bale.
Christian Bale and Gerard Butler. That was practically their first movie. Like they were so
Really?
green. They were so green for that. Like he wasn't Batman by then,
Wait, I
Well,
know
no, but he
Batman
had
was
been
Batman.
American Psycho already.
He'd been American Psycho. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
sure.
Well,
Right.
American Psycho is not. It's kind of a cult movie, and it's one of those higher profile, low budget movies. It's still not. There's still not a lot in American Psycho. It's very. It's trying to be very artsy.
I mean, the
so it's
budget
a
doesn't
different kind of
necessarily
movie.
matter. It showed his performance, and he got a lot of notoriety for it. He was
Sure.
well known by that
And
point.
then what
and
did he do
that's-
after that?
I don't know how well known he was by that. It was his breakout role, but it's not the huge success box office smash kind of movie. I wouldn't say. You think it was?
Sure.
Uh,
I
I'll look
came
at the
way
box
late
office
to that
statistics.
party, so I have no idea. So, but let's. Take a
It probably
peek.
made a lot of money compared to what it cost because it's a horror movie.
Oh, American Psycho.
Was
American
it?
Psycho budget $7 million.
Oh, you mean American
and
Psycho.
box office $34 million.
that sounds
No,
like
So
a
it
good
was a
return.
success. It's a good return. Doubled its money pretty
hilarious.
much.
He's
He's
going to
suspended.
be in Love and Thunder.
Between Reign of Fire and American Psycho, he was in Shaft. Apparently,
Shut your
I don't
mouth.
remember this.
A Shaft remake.
The one with the Samuel
Yeah.
Jackson.
Yep.
Then he was in a Nicolas Cage movie I've never seen, and some other movie I've never heard about.
Right.
Then
And
Reign
then
of
right
Fire?
after Reign of Fire, he did Equilibrium,
Which is
alright,
a
so his
great
career
movie.
really kicks off.
The
that
Machinist, which
movie
is also really good.
was also dumb.
Yeah.
Machinist is when he
Yeah.
started playing with his weight to a crazy
Mach-
crazy
I
degree.
thought
He did
came out
Machinist and the
after
first Batman
That's
movie
crazy.
were like very close to each other. So he went from like
Yeah.
severely underweight to fucking ripped in like
I remember
very
the news
short
on
amount
that.
of
I just
time.
thought it was backwards. I thought he did Batman, then Machinist, and then Batman again. But I guess that makes a little bit more sense. And then Prestige, and like you start to actually recognize the movie titles. You know,
He's
other than just being a nerd.
he's one of these former child actors. I didn't realize that. He's the
Actually,
love
he did
interest.
Newsies, which was really
He's-
like a guilty pleasure of mine. I really like that.
It looks like was he Disney's Pocahontas he's in Disney's Pocahontas, and he was in Little Women. So like as the love interest of these callow teenagers. So yeah, I didn't realize he was a young guy. Newsies, a lot of boy.
So our
So, yeah,
point is that Christian Bale was not an unknown for Reign of Fire.
Are we still on this?
Yes.
Kind of. He's still kind
He's
of
kind of-
was like.
He was in Pocahontas, all right?
Look, man. Just because he was in these movies doesn't mean you know who the f he was.
You're
You
right.
know-
I didn't know who he was in Pocahontas. I didn't know
That's
who
what
anybody
I'm
was in Pocahontas.
I'm just saying,
Captain-
like you barely knew who he was in Reign of Fire. Like I didn't remember he was in Reign of Fire, and I like this movie. So
I mean, I
he's
saw.
actually the actor I did remember. I didn't remember that Jared Butler was in it.
Right.
I saw Reign of Fire very late into its existence, so I knew who he was.
Well,
I gave it a 6 out of 10, which would be like a B tier.
Yeah, low B. Because there's
Low
like
B.
probably going to be something that goes
what
above
the hell
it.
are you guys rating higher than this? Like Dragonheart
Dragonheart.
accepting, what are you rating higher than this?
How to Train Your Dragon
I
rated
assume
higher
How to
than
Train Your
this.
Dragon's probably going to go above this for them.
Yeah.
Oh
I-
my god, you children.
They are
You're
children.
literally
They are
children.
children.
Like God.
No, I don't even really like How to Train Your Dragon, but it's a better movie. It's a well-constructed movie.
It's a very good movie.
That's all I can say about it. Like, it's not like it's a phenomenal masterpiece, but it sets up what it tries to do, does it well. The dragons are just kind of like fun, weird animals to laugh at. It's got a stupid plot with a dad who doesn't understand and the kid who's always right. It's pretty standard stuff. But among dragon movies, it is S tier, right? Among this
Dragon
list, of this motley crew, it's S tier. It's not even the best animated movie of the year it came out, although I think it won the Oscar.
It's not the highest rated movie on my list.
No,
Oh, really?
it should be Dragonheart.
Dragonheart's my highest rated movie.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Whatever, let's just get on with it. You all disappoint
Oh God,
me.
Cody, don't do that.
What did you do? Oh no.
It's just we just finished it, and then he flips up with this. It's like no.
Yeah, no. Next movie,
Thank
Cody.
you.
It's
We're
not,
not-
it's
we're
not the
going
worst
over
thing
it
he's
again.
ever said. So
Thank you. I knew you were my favorite. I've always said it. So
All right, what are we doing next?
the actual
I just
movie.
can't wait. Why don't you guys tell me how good How to Train Your Dragon was and how S tier it was? Let's do that.
I think it was the best constructed movie on this list.
I agree.
Maybe.
What in
I don't
the
know. Actually,
hell?
Milan kind of like I have a soft spot for Milan, so it's hard to say which one was better. But like they are far better than most of the others, and just like it knew what it was, it knew what it was doing, it executed it very, very well, and so it was very enjoyable
Milan
compared to
still
some of the
on this
others.
list?
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest
not-
with
that's
you.
much
I
better than
like
How to
this
Train Your
movie.
Dragon.
I like How to Train Your Dragon, but like, how could you say something so controversial and so brave? Like, what's wrong with you?
Well, it's not that bad.
Anyway, but it's also got Gerard Butler in it, so that's like at
Yeah,
least
and a
Is that
bunch
how
of
it
other
were
people
graded
in
on?
it too. It was great.
Next is
He's-
2 weeks
he's
from now.
one of my
Gerard
favorite
Butler
randos.
movies.
So yeah,
Craig Ferguson's
Timeline
character in it was
Mhm,
great.
mhm. Yeah, right. So it doesn't sound like we got a bunch of dissent. So what are we doing? S
S
Oh no,
plus?
Yeah.
this is not S tier. You could put it in A.
No,
tier.
How to Train Your
Well-
Dragon. It's A tier. I have it on 8 out of 10.
At least A. At least A. Yeah, that's fine.
A is fine.
It's a good movie. It's an above average movie.
But it's not gonna be the best
especially if
A
you've
tier
got
movie.
kids, especially if you're doing the whole like coming of age story and you like Vikings fighting dragons.
And the Vikings have Scots accents just because, and it's great.
Well, yeah, I mean, because you cast Gerard Butler.
Found
What
that
are you gonna
mildly
do?
I mean, no, but they
culturally
doubled down.
appropriated, but
It's not just Gerard Butler. They also had Craig Ferguson and a bunch of other people doing
Right.
the Scots accent, which I love. I very much enjoy that. It's
Well, I
just-
mean, it's the same as like Germans always have British accents. Frenchmen always have, well, they kind of have pseudo French accents. It's an American movie trope. Fine, it's fine. It's fine.
Vikings can
It's
have
fine.
Viking accents, but it's like the fun thing of it is that they specifically made these Vikings had gone to someplace in Scotland.
No, if Vikings had Viking accents, they'd sound like it's the movie Fargo.
They
Right?
sound like Andreas. It'd be
do you got a fucking problem, Ben?
I just say it.
It's coming
It
for
doesn't-
you.
You want to make him sound like a little bit malicious, not like Bobby's World, right?
No, it's too late. He's requisitioning his axe from the government right now. They're going to send it in 6 to 8 weeks, and then you are fucked.
True.
Andres, have you seen Norsemen or what's that one for the same guys? A Lilyhammer?
I think I've seen a couple of episodes of Lilyhammer. It's the
Yeah.
gangster that goes to Norway, right? Or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Satire of politics.
Mhm.
I don't know. Cool. Glad you have. That's it.
That's it.
It's Viking,
Hold
but Norsemen is kind of in the same tone. It's making
on.
fun of the whole Viking thing, except now they're all kind of just like hyper polite Scandinavians.
As you do.
So that's
Northman
all
was
that is.
funny. I've seen some of it. But let's move back to the dragon argument.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, is that what we're doing today?
Yeah.
Briefly, in the middle of everything else.
What's next? What movies have you guys actually seen recently that we could talk about?
The only one of this I haven't seen was Pete's Dragon. So
Right.
That's not the only one I haven't seen in.
we know.
I watched Pete's Dragon.
I think I
thought it
watched
was
Pete's Dragon a grand total of one time, and I was 7 years old.
Not even sure.
I'm glad I picked the right one because there was two, but I picked the right one.
Yeah, isn't one Pizza, one Peter's?
I just grabbed
I
the
think there was a
modern one.
Peter's
Like
Dragon.
when I
same.
suggested, I said everybody should watch the original, but yeah, I just was grabbing posters and didn't want to dig. But
I watched the newest one. It was good.
It's got good buzz. I heard it was one of the remakes that was. I didn't watch it, but I heard it was one of the remakes that's better than the original. I think that
so,
is-
Andreas,
was-
what was your ranking?
I gave it a 7 out of 10, which would be like a high B.
Gross. I'm not putting the shit above Rain of Fire. I don't care how bad.
It was
good
way better
was.
than Reign of Fire.
What, Pete's Dragon?
I'm not
I'm
going
okay.
off of your say so. Of all the people that are like, yeah, Andreas normally has fair and balanced takes. Let's put that above Rain of Fire.
I'm sorry, which one of us do have fair and balanced takes?
I'm just
I
don't
saying,
believe-
this is my hill to die on. I'm the one with the power. It
I am
could
the
go
fairest and
after.
balancedest of all the takes. I am the benevolent dictator.
Yeah, I was like, which one of us is the benevolent dictator? Because we're
I'm
about
the
to find out.
director. That's pretty close.
Yeah,
It's
you're,
good.
you're ancillary to all of this. You're just the one who clicks the button to start it. After that.
Yeah. You guys can go get a second monitor and be able to present 2 screens. Woo.
I will.
I could.
Okay, well, there.
I really don't care whether
Did anyone else watch it other than me?
No.
No.
Nope.
Nope.
It was actually pretty decent.
You are the only one that probably did all of the homework.
Yeah, and
I tried hard, but I couldn't.
I didn't try that hard.
yeah, some of these I was trying to
I feel like
get
since
people
I'm the
to-
only one who watched it, I should
Therefore,
say
you're
where
good.
it goes.
I'm happy to
yeah,
say
yeah,
I'm
yeah. I
happy
know
to
you
give it
think
the
that.
childhood bump, but
Yeah.
you know, again, I haven't seen it since I was 7. I don't think.
Look, man, Rain of Fire is like one of my top 2. I'm not taking your word in this movie over Rain of Fire. Already got slighted at a B, let alone is it going to be a B minus. So
Hey, I said A, but
Oh,
yeah, I'll get it on the list for the kids and whatever, and then I'll let you know if I made some horrible mistake, and I doubt it. But okay, what's next? Should we just get Aragon out of the way and put it down in
put
F
it
tier?
in.
F
I don't think we can. If you put it at the end of F tier. And I didn't
Just
even read the books
for
to
the first
care
time
about the
looking
fact
at
that
it.
the adaptation was
didn't read the
terrible.
books
It was
either.
just
I
a
didn't-
great movie.
I mean, that movie had a lot of problems, but I don't think it's the worst on this list.
Really?
Yeah, no, the
would
Dungeons
you
and
rate?
Dragons movie, as
No,
delightfully horrible as it is horrible.
it
as
is
a
not,
movie.
but it's
I
not worse than Aragon.
I have seen both
Yes,
both
it
Aragon,
is.
Aragon and
Yeah.
Aragon
You
didn't
hate
even
Aragon,
follow like
that's
its own
fine.
story, and yeah, right. Like
No, it
Sure, I've
doesn't.
got a
It doesn't tell its own story. Aragon doesn't tell its own story. It tells 5 other stories at the
Aragon.
same time.
that's what I'm
Aragon.
saying. It
Aragon.
doesn't even follow its own story, right? It like the movie is not coherent in any way, shape, or form. It is some dragons fighting each other. That's the movie. Aragon the movie. So like, yeah, I didn't read the books either. I don't have like, oh man, they ruined my nostalgia or anything. It just wasn't good, period.
Also, if
Dungeons
your
and
budget
Dragons
is
was
higher and you're that
bad.
much worse, that's a force multiplier.
Right.
It's the
Dungeons
same
and
reason the
Dragons
old
was
Dune movie
bad,
is still
but it
viewed
was-
as a meme fun. Then, you know,
Right. But it at least had like plot. Like you're gonna sit there and tell me that Aragon's plot was better than Dungeons and Dragons? You're gonna tell me that Jeremy Irons was better in Aragon versus Dungeons and Dragons? Ask yourself the hard
Aragon
question.
Yeah,
was
he
in
was.
this middle period, like middle point of like it's bad and it didn't have much to save it, like because it can go from that it's so bad it's enjoyable point, like
No.
where the Dungeons and Dragons thing did. But the new movie is absolutely the worst movie, worser than Aragon for sure. It's
Worser? Worser.
worser.
Thank
Yes,
this is what we're dealing with.
Yep.
Ray and the Last
Yeah.
Dragon?
that's boring.
No.
Oh, you
But
think Ryan the
yeah.
Last Dragon's after?
You
Well, no,
guys
which-
are
I thought I missed which movie you were talking about.
You guys are
Aragon
ridiculous.
versus D&D. But
Oh,
the D&D
yeah.
movie, like it did have that bad enjoyment, but it was a very bad movie.
Aragon was somewhat enjoyable if you watch it with riff tracks. It's a pretty good riff tracks take. If you want to do the Mystery Science Theater treatment to it, it's fine.
Yeah, but then you're not enjoying the movie; you're enjoying the commentary.
Exactly right. So
I gave it.
I'd be a fan of it again.
I gave it like 3 out of 10, which is like D, not F.
Well,
It's-
we're
it's
grading on the
an
correct
F.
curve, not the
Well-
not the European curve.
It had
Well,
it had enough in it where I was like not completely bored, and I was like, I might actually want to read the books to get the real story kind of interested.
I read like 90% of the book back when I was like 14 or something, maybe even younger. And I remember it being kind of the same types of problems that this movie had, actually, of weird pacing, going all over the place. And then I was bored by the end. So I stopped reading it in the middle of the biggest fight climax
Right.
and everything.
So it was
But
more
that's-
faithful than we all thought.
Aragon
Yeah, it's
definitely
like,
felt like a childhood like D&D story, right? Where they were
Yeah.
like, let's have these epic dragons, and the dragons are gonna fight everybody, and the Dark Lord.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
just,
it's
like
it
yeah.
is every trope ever. There's the boy on a farm gets a dragon special sword, some magic abilities. There's a girl, big fight, woohoo! That's it. But that is what the book was too, from what I remember. So
This is not
it's like-
selling it.
Yep.
It's weird how the movie felt accurate to the book while being
Good
so bad.
spirit.
My roommate, big
Look, man.
Aragon like books fan at least, and he said the movie it's nothing like the books.
You
Uh,
guys better
my
be
brother
careful.
read them,
The
I
3
never
people
did.
that are still fans of this book series are going to be like sharpening their pitchforks right
Maybe
now.
it got a lot better after that book.
I'm going to
but
be
I
honest.
don't-
If the 3 people that still care about Aragon are actually watching our podcast, and not even the real podcast, but like the side podcast that nobody watches, then we've got bigger issues than they do.
What do you
We've
mean?
got,
We have a
like,
surprisingly
5
active
unique
chat
people in
today
the chat.
for
think
a
we
while
have
we weren't recording episode.
There's dozens
There's
of us,
one person for each of us currently on this episode.
right?
Justin can have Cody.
Yeah, that's.
I was
yeah,
going
easily.
to say, and none of them are on Andreas's or Ben's side, so that's all we need to know.
I will take the Dresden Files podcast. I believe that one commented earlier.
Yeah, right. You're going to count the director as being in your corner.
More
Teacher's
than
pet, teacher's
more,
pet.
More than certain other aspects. Yeah, I probably would.
Yeah. All right, so should we get your bullshittery for the D&D movie out of the way, or Ben's bullshittery about Ray and the Last Dragon? You guys are ridiculous.
Oh,
So-
Ray and the Last Dragon.
I'm happy,
Which one are we
in
doing
the
next?
sake of being again fair and balanced as I am, to put them both in D tier and just have done.
Okay.
Well, I'll put
Damn.
Dungeons and Dragons in D tier. I'll settle for that, but
Really? That
it's
high?
not.
I,
It's
I
not
gave
worse
Dungeons
than
and Dragons a
Aragon.
3 out of 10. It was on a level with Aragon, but it was slightly more. It was more funny. It was more. It was more
was
entertaining.
Weirder, and it was like especially if you're a bit inebriated, it can just be enjoyable for how bad it is.
That's
but
where I
it
went
was
wrong. I
bad.
should have been drunk. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. I'm taking
We do
notes.
not
Hold
agree
a
on
second.
Ray and the Last Dragon.
Yeah. All right. Let's just okay. So, all right. Why is Ray and the Last Dragon boring?
Well, it's not that it's boring.
Why can
it's
you-
just
No, it was
it's just-
boring.
No,
Why
Well-
can you not enjoy the story? Like, what's wrong with it?
it's just completely quick. The quips won't stop. It's tonally wrong. It's not even the story. It's just the execution.
You guys
the
don't
line
know how to
reads.
dig, do you? Like, you guys see a joke in a movie and you're like, "Oh, it's trying to be funny again." Like, are you
Sorry,
shitting
no,
No,
me?
I
no,
You're
perfectly
gonna sit
enjoy
there.
the
You're
joke.
gonna sit
No,
there
no,
and
no,
tell
no,
me
no, no, no.
that,
Here's
like,
how you do it. Here's how you do it.
Wong's
You have-
character and what
have-
happened to his entire village wasn't hard-hitting enough for you.
You have
Like, what?
Aladdin. That is a comedy movie. That's a Disney animated movie for children.
It's
It's
literally
the point
a
of
clip a
Aladdin. The
minute.
point of Aladdin is well, Robin Williams, right? That's the whole point of the movie.
No.
That's the only reason the movie
No,
exists.
it's not,
Hang on.
but okay.
And
It's literally
there are
not
other
the
characters who have little jokes here and there, but for the most part, it's pretty played straight to give a bit of comic balance. So That's how comedy works.
I
If
just,
it's all
I
just
would
quips
just
all
like
the
to
time,
appeal to the audience to pay attention to Ben's words because he's fucking ridiculous right now. I'm not even going to respond to it. Like, how do
you're
you
the guy
sit
in
there?
a Thor shirt.
How do you? Yes, and
Whoops.
do you want to fight me in my Thor shirt?
Anything.
Like, Thor is the god of thunder. Thor is one of the best politicians this planet has ever seen. He promised to get rid of the ice giants, and I haven't seen any ice giants around. So
I would like to
Thor
point
for
out he's
2024.
Thor, God of Hammers. Thank you.
Anyway, so no, dude, you can't sit there and tell me that Robin Williams movie played it straight, right? We're not talking about.
No, I'm saying the
Patch
characters
Adams.
did.
We're talking
The characters
about
did.
fucking no.
No, so
No.
the other characters did. So you have the comic character, and then you have the character who's a little bit more serious, and the quips just won't stop. It's not, and on top of that, the quips themselves aren't very funny.
They're really straight.
The quips not stopping is whatever that can be depending on execution, but the quips were bad. Nothing, not
Yeah.
a single bit of humor in Raya and the Last Dragon landed for
I
me.
agree.
It was like jokes made by
Yeah.
committee. It wasn't it was childhood
Or
manufactured by
7-year-old.
committee. It was very soulless. I was just so bored and just like I was just waiting for it to be over and trying to
But-
give it any form of grace to be able to,
Right.
to improve, but I just never felt it did.
So, I the reason I said earlier that I had to watch it in two pieces is because the first hour is like, ugh, but I thought, okay, Disney Plus says it's 1 hour 50 minutes or whatever. I forgot about the 20 minutes of credits that Disney does with its Disney Plus stuff. So I was like, I guess I'm just going to come back to this tomorrow and watch the second half fresh. And when I was watching the second half, it was like it was a different movie. The quips had stopped, and you had more character interactions, a little bit more serious talking, little jokes here and there, some pathos, and a great fight scene at the end. Which is it's like it was a different movie. I thought the ending was good, but the setup was not. I want to give it credit. I think it ended well. I just don't think it set up that ending.
It didn't earn the
in terms of-
ending.
It didn't earn the ending. That's how I was saying. Yeah, that's true. That's what I mean.
What
I agree.
What would have made it earn the ending exactly?
More suffering.
The whole fucking
surprise! Director
planet
Alex wanted more
was
pain
turned
and
to
That's right.
suffering.
stone.
Like, hold on, can I compare this
People
to
lost
Mulan?
their
Of like
parents.
Mulan is
How many
really fucking
Disney
dark, and
movies?
yes, I mean the 1998 version, the one that's actually worth paying attention to. But like that actually does get really dark. So when it has a happy ending, it felt like it was earned. And even then, it was like she's still a mess. She's still a chaotic person that is probably going to blow up something else. But she did do something good. And I didn't like how Rhea started out as being the capable one. I thought that was kind of an odd choice.
She started out losing.
No, she won.
She was a child, but she lost. That was literally,
She was
the
tricked,
entire
but-
apocalypse part.
She was
She
right. So she was
lost.
tricked. But what I mean is the trial to get she got one foot onto the middle place with the thing and her father.
toe.
Yeah, a toe.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the part. Like she was hyper capable
So-
already when
So
I don't
it's
think she
it's
should have
not
been.
okay that she trained her entire life to be able to get to that moment under literally the only other dude who could have taught her, aka dad. In
right,
this
but
case.
that
that's
success
not
that
okay.
early was not earned. And so I didn't care. And it was just boring. And then
you got a
everything was-
tough. How do you enjoy fantasy, right? Like literally, that's worst case. So I'm not even addressing this towards Rhea. I'm just bringing this in as a counterpoint in general, right? That's the fantasy trope, right? Like we were lampooning it with Aragon, Luke Skywalker, Rey Skywalker, I guess, since that's the name she's chosen, on and on and on, right? Like that's every fantasy trope. That is literally boy on a farm staple fantasy trope. They usually just start out competent inexplicably. That's the chosen one kind of thing. But in this case, you're like, boring, unearned. They made a joke that one time, unearned. Fuck the fact that their entire country got destroyed like 10 minutes later and her dad is a statue for the entire movie and all of this stuff. There wasn't enough tragedy for me. I don't understand how you can say these things if you watch the movie. That's the part that I'm confused about, right? Like the movie itself is the evidence against your argument that you're presenting, right? Like, so if you guys weren't,
Well, no,
entertained, if you guys didn't pay attention, then-
it's not about the Wikipedia summary of the plot. It's about the execution of it, Right?
Yeah.
I don't have any sympathy for her at all because she's obnoxious and unlikable, and her quips aren't funny, and there's no enjoyment throughout the rest of the movie. So yeah, that's sad that your dad died or turned to stone or whatever. Because
You guys are talking about
because he
earning
decided
shit, though.
he was all of a sudden
So,
The
but
story
you're
has to
pivoting,
all of a
earn it.
sudden,
but you're
because all of a sudden
pivoting your
decided,
justification.
No.
You're pivoting your
Right in your mouth.
justification because she's unlikable now instead
so
of
what
that.
I'm saying, no, it's because
was
it's unearned.
unearned.
I think it's unearned. That goes along with being unearned, right?
Then
Because the dad
justify
decides
it.
he all of a sudden can't swim, and he pushes her into the river, self-sacrifice, fine, but the rest of the movie doesn't capitalize on that. It just, instead of sticking with that kind of serious mood, it just starts being jokey. It's like, well, she doesn't care about it. Why should I? Right? That's how entertainment works. You're supposed to be invested in the characters, and if the characters are acting like it doesn't matter for another 40 minutes.
I don't
Even-
understand.
Thanks
or
for
what
sharing
she's
your
doing.
opinion.
Okay.
I don't
It's a
find the
bad movie.
justification there, and I don't agree with you. And I'm not sure where to get into any kind of argument because I don't think you're reflecting on the material of the movie. Like I said, like you guys, the point is apparently if I bring a synopsis of the movie, then I've just read the example off of Wikipedia instead of actually bringing up the plot points that back up what my argument are, which is
It's
what
not
I've been
about
saying
plot
the
points.
entire time.
It's not about plot points. It's about execution.
It's about the fact that they made 3 bad jokes in the movie, and therefore I hate the movie. Let's be reductive about our arguments instead of trying to find a middle ground, Ben.
There were about 40 bad jokes in the first hour. That's not an exaggeration.
Did you count them, or are you just pulling shit out of your ass because that's what
I
it
just
sounds
saw
like?
the movie. I just
Okay,
saw the
but
movie.
did you count 40 jokes? I'm just saying.
Well, there was at least one per minute, and there was 40 minutes of them.
Oh,
So-
okay. Yeah.
And there were
Pulling
often
it
more
out your
than that.
ass.
No.
So, you decided you didn't like the
I don't-
movie and you went for reasons to not like the movie. That's fine. That's your opinion.
You're not even.
I'm
no,
just-
no. It was a miserable experience for everyone in the room. So
you and your wife, or was there a mouse in your pocket? Like, I enjoyed the movie. I don't
Because
think
you're an
everybody else
idiot.
hated it.
I liked it too.
This is ridiculous. How can you like that movie? Oh,
I
okay.
I liked it. There was like
I can see it. I can see it.
So we're
I
doing
give it like
ad
a
hominem
6.5
now. Is that
out
what
of
your
10.
arguments
Yes.
boil down to?
Oh man, I
You
can't.
can't possibly see the
I can't
other people like the
possibly-
movie that you didn't
No,
like.
not
Okay.
this movie. Not this movie. No,
Cool.
not even close. It's irredeemable.
Can I render my
irredeemable.
judgment now?
Come on. What do you
Yes,
mean?
what is your
It was-
judgment on Raya?
It was pretty cookie cutter, I would say. It was pretty, but like all the side characters had like a pretty interesting, pretty tragic, to bring Alex's point up. They all had stories.
But I didn't get to feel it. I didn't get to suffer. So there's a sassy baby that lost her family, but like it didn't dwell on it enough. Like versus, I want to compare it to Mulan. There was these moments of you will pay attention to how bad this was. This whole village is gone and decimated, and there's just a tiny little doll that's left over, and you actually got to feel it versus leaving it in the background. I didn't agree with the humor of it. That can be a taste thing, but I didn't like it. None of it landed.
I do not understand not liking the humor in this and then liking like the humor in, say, Aladdin, like we talked about earlier.
I will admit I actually haven't seen the animated Aladdin.
Well, you don't watch things. We have established that. You had no good childhood.
Because I would say that like
Mulan and Aliens. That's what I grew up with.
the magical dragon sidekick is literally like that's very genie in many ways.
Sure,
I
I like Mushu.
tone and humor. Yeah, I agree with Justin. It was a good, like it's not like oh my god, I had this fantastic experience. But like it's a pretty good kids movie that you can watch as an adult as well and be like, that was pretty good. I gave it 6.5 out of 10. Like pretty high B.
I'm really glad I didn't see this movie now. I've got to be the happiest person left on this panel.
Justin, he's just so sad now, and he's like, I'm out.
I'm not sad. I'm pissed. So there's a difference.
All right, so C tier then, since it's this contentious, it's like right in the middle.
Sure.
Although the way
What's
Aquafina
next?
spells her name should probably bump it down.
I can't recognize the movie poster of the most left one. What is that? Never-ending
Story.
Right.
Moonchild.
That was like, yeah, that was
Child.
like bang average for me.
I
Though I only rated
can't
it by
wait.
memory.
I can't wait for the comments on this one. So go ahead. Where are we putting it?
For me, it's like
Never-ending Story?
it's like average C tier. It was not as good as I remember it. But I didn't watch the whole thing because I didn't have the time. I've seen it quite a few times when I was younger.
Yeah, me too. I think it's better than Pete's Dragon. I don't think that's hard.
I guess I don't know. I gave it 5 out of 10 when I ranked them, and I gave Pete's like
I can't
7.
do
5
your
is
rankings.
5 is average, right? So 5 is like
Look, man,
No, I
it's
get
Andre's just like
I'm
one
just
of two
saying,
people that did the homework.
your Euro scale is throwing me off. Because a 5 out of 10 American means more than a 5 out of 10 European. That's just the transaction rate. I can't. I'm sorry. I don't make the rules.
I think,
5
I
is
think
meet
Andreas' opinion
expectations.
weighs a little heavier
and
since
it was
this was German.
up
so-
above or below from there.
Never-ending Story is maybe a C plus. It has its own feel to it. It's trying for something. I don't think it really works or that it's all that watchable, but
I'm
it's
surprised.
fine.
I like this
It's
movie.
like a
more
Phantom
than I
Menace.
thought.
It didn't have any quips in it, so it's got to at least be a C plus, right?
If it didn't get you with the horse,
Fair
like, I
enough.
don't know what to say to you. You're
Yeah,
dead
the horse
inside.
scene was surprisingly horrible. I can understand why
Oh,
that
yeah.
would scar
man.
someone as a child. I don't think I actually saw this as a kid. I thought I had, but it must have been one of the other ones, the sequels.
I'd put it between something like of movies of that era, something between like a Karate Kid and Willow. Like it's in that, though it's a different
Hold on,
movie.
which one's the high and which one's the low in that?
Right. I'd say Karate Kid is better than this, but Willow is worse. And it's
Wait,
kind of a
what?
blend of
Excuse me.
approaches. Really?
Hey man, you picked your side. Don't even start.
You think so?
I really
It's
like
been a long time since I've
Karate
seen
Kid.
either,
Oh my
but
gosh.
Willow was one of my favorites when I was very young.
You've been
I
wrong
really
about
like
many
Willow,
things
too.
in your life. That's fine.
It's not as inventive as something like Dark Crystal or Labyrinth or something. It's fine. It's
one-
fine.
You'll have Val Kilmer in it.
It's more. The Neverending Story is more. I would say it's more dark than either of those. Except like the like Willow or Karate Kid
It's kinda
comparisons.
dark.
It's a little more trippy as well. Like a lot more trippy, actually.
Yes, yeah. Neverending Story. I surprisingly really liked it, and just like it did focus on the horror and the suffering, and yet it was still somehow with kids. But it also like that trippy feeling of what I think the 1984 version of Dune was trying to go for, and also be like happily not explaining almost anything, but it just was comfortable with itself that way. It's like I thought this was surprisingly fun and good. Would be interesting to see it with updated graphics, but like the oldness of it actually was kind of cool.
It I would say, it doesn't, it's not like we're like, wow, this looks great, but it has, the way that they decided to make the movie makes it hold up better because it was
Yeah.
very practical mostly. So it's like it has this style and charm to it
Yeah,
in that
yeah.
way. But for me, it's still like, it's an average, maybe a little above average movie.
I mean, I would have
In the
put it
grand
as
scheme of things.
a high B of it being surprisingly good while having some like this could have been better, that could have been done a little bit better, but it was good. I'd watch it again.
So what? We're either putting this at the top of C or the top of B. You're going to put this over Reign of Fire.
No, I'd put it before Pete's Dragon. That's about as high as I've been.
No, it's lower than Pete's Dragon.
Well,
No, the
as you're
dragon's-
the only one who have seen that, we should.
The dragon's
Right.
fuzzy, therefore he is better. Also, the Pit of Despair ruined a lot of childhoods, so that gets a bump.
Swamp, right? The Pit of
Swamp
Despair
is
is a
well,
different
yeah.
movie.
Right. Yeah. Or Swamp of whatever it's technically called. I'm all for scarring children, so
It's
that,
like,
that
I
gets
mean,
it
I don't
above
know.
over.
Since Alex wanted up there, EG wants it up there. I don't know. I don't think it should be above Pete's.
They're
I don't
both
think Pete's
apocalypses.
Yeah,
Raya and the Last Dragon and Never Ending Story. So.
and Reign of Fire.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we're not arguing about if this movie is better than Reign of Fire. To me, that's a non-starter. So unless anybody suddenly backs you on that, like,
I think
yeah,
I'm
I
on
don't
your
think
side.
anyone's throwing themselves on that one.
Justin,
Cody
I'm on
doesn't
your
like Reign
side.
of Fire that
I'll-
much. He's gonna back you.
Since you guys hated Rhea so much, I would do C plus, unless you guys really want it. What?
I mean-
you wanted before Pete's Dragon. Since nobody's seen Pete's Dragon, that's not really a fair assessment.
I thought we were doing
Andreas saw it. Andreas saw it.
Right, but he's the only one.
Oh, we are doing it.
So we
Yeah,
can't tell
I'm
if
just
he's
trying to
wrong or
make
not.
sense.
And
I
he is
mean,
speaking of the
let's-
remake. I've heard the older Pete's Dragon hasn't held up as well, but the newer one is done well. So I could buy Pete's Dragon as plausible. I think Never Ending Story is in the C plus. Justin, I'm sorry, I was out of line. That's my bad.
It's okay.
I apologize.
We get into it at times.
Okay, just want to make
We'll-
sure. I apologize.
we'll
Public
iron it
insult,
out.
public apology. I was out of line.
I appreciate it.
Do it again.
I just like, man. Look, I'll
I-
admit that I'm an idiot sometimes, but at least you can fight me on something that
Yeah,
isn't
I
Rey and the
know.
Last
It's
Dragon. Like,
Oh man, I
Priority.
love the medium animation. I think it's capable of some
Uh.
great things. And it was like a Joss Whedon movie, Ray and the Last Dragon.
That's what we're
you guys are
doing
ridiculous.
There's nothing
Yeah,
wrong
fight
with a
again.
Joss
The
Whedon
problem-
now.
movie.
Fight again.
Yeah,
Okay.
the problem is I feel like we're just not even on the same planet as far
No.
as finding a middle ground for a
No,
discourse,
not on this one.
because
Not on this one.
there's so
Not-
many redeeming things and better things, and I don't like the movie because of the quips. Like, sure, there's funny things. Wong's character's great once you get to know him, and I think that's part of it too. Like, you guys
Yeah.
just hit this wall of superficiality, and that was it. And I don't
No,
know,
it's-
whatever.
There's
So-
and
It's also
derivative.
hard. It's hard to agree with, like, finding a middle ground with me and Justin when you compare it. When you say it's really bad, and then you say it's like a Joss Whedon movie,
right.
and you know
Which
we
we
really
like.
like Joss
So we're
Whedon
like,
things.
What's
Well, I
the
guess-
argument there?
Well, fair enough.
I'm wearing
fair
a
enough.
Thor shirt after all, so what's
Oh,
the
Joss Whedon
argument?
wrote Thor. I knew
No.
Stan Lee invented him.
He's
Okay.
that
Just,
old.
you know, the Marvel and Thor
Oh, I
and
see.
Whedon. all
Joss
of
Whedon
it.
has had a very big hand in how the tone and humor of Marvel has evolved.
Honestly,
Because he
I-
did the
I
first
think-
Avengers and Ultron.
I personally think Neverending Story is rated too highly here, but but we'll go for it for nostalgia and Falcor. and,
It's C tier for me. Where it is in
Moonchild.
C tier, I'm not sure.
yeah. You're gonna sit there and tell me that it's better than the Dungeons and
No.
Dragons movie? Seriously, honestly?
Yeah, I actually think it's better than Dungeons and
No,
Dragons.
I do.
movie.
I
The
do
Dragons
too.
and Dragons movie was horrible, but you can enjoy the horribleness. But that was bad.
I actually
But it
saw
was
the
funny
Dungeons
to
and
laugh at
Dragons
how
movie.
bad it is. It's like
I saw,
Now,
I
if,
saw the
if-
Dungeons and Dragons movie in theaters because it was my friend's birthday, and I read in Dragon magazine that it was coming out. I was like, "It's great!" I'd never played D&D, but I read Dragon magazine all the time at the library. I saw this in this magazine. It must be great. In Dragon magazine, it has this big preview, and we went. And even as 14-year-old boys, at best, the best possible target audience, we came out of that. My friend was angry at me. This is my birthday movie. You made us watch this? Yeah, so
that's gonna leave an
that's-
impression. Yeah.
that's my impression.
Him
of
and Ben are not friends anymore.
actually,
This
actually,
explains
no.
so many things.
Yeah.
Never trust Dragon magazine. I guess
That's why he primarily watches movies that are like 50 years old and the opinions have been settled on them. So, you know, no
waste my
surprises
time.
watching. Yeah, right.
exactly.
Well, because he already
Never
has no
mad at
friends,
them.
so he
They're
can't disappoint
safe.
them by watching black and white movies anymore.
Right.
Let's do the next one. Mulan? Should we do Mulan?
No, let's do George and the Dragon because like maybe two of you guys have seen it.
Actually,
Okay,
bother
well,
watching it.
You guys just talk about that one. I didn't know we were watching that, so I watched Spirited Away, the actual good movie.
That is an actually good movie.
so
Spirited
director,
Away is a good
this
movie,
is-
but we substituted it with George and the Dragon
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
the connection to the dragons was tenuous with
title.
Spirited Away. And
Let
this
me know
It was
when
in
you're
the
done with
title. That's all it was. Don't try and make this
Speaking of
deeper. It was
tenuous.
in the title.
Well, that's also like this movie has James Purefoy, Michael Clark Duncan, and Patrick Swayze in it. That's with a dragon. What the fuck was this movie? How did we miss
gonna
it? How
say-
did it not come up on any of the lists that we were
Well,
looking at things?
You watched
because
it. You
those,
tell me
they
how
all
it didn't come
collectively
up on the
pulled their
list.
money. Yeah, they pulled their money to get it stricken from the record. That's probably why.
It's possible. It was it was weird. I feel like it was trying to go for like a Knight's Tale tone, but it couldn't capture it. And other times it was reminding me of like the Icelandic sagas of the very strange sudden like bursts of I'm super capable that really strains reality, even though it's supposed to be in there. And maybe that was the point. I don't know whatever story this was actually based on. It was enjoyable, but my husband wouldn't stop complaining about it when we watched it. He said he enjoyed the D&D movie more, but I think he was just more inebriated during the D&D movie.
Holy crap. He did. The Knight's Tale came out 3 years before George and the Dragon. Like, why would you do that to yourself, James? Like, seriously. He did Knight's Tale, immediately did Resident Evil, a couple other movies I've never heard of.
Yeah,
because he was her husband, wasn't he? Like, and then he gets
he's the guy who froze the T-virus.
I don't remember.
Yeah, he gets taken out in like the first 5 minutes because of that or whatever. But
he's there through the whole movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say at the end he's like a double agent, I think, in the first one.
Yeah.
But they find him and then he like turns, doesn't he? So like
they find him. He doesn't remember who he is. They go through the most of the movie with him, and then he remembers, and he's like, ah.
Yeah. Here, I'm just going to warn everybody now. Here is a tier list that we're not ever going to be able to do, in fairness, because zombie movies bite all of you all the time. So, quippiness, goodness, guys.
Okay, the one in the shopping mall that I can't remember the name of in the early 2000s is the one I really like the most of all the ones I've seen.
You mean the remake?
Dawn of the Dead, the remake. That you can't even remember the name of. That's your favorite zombie movie. That bodes well for.
Yep.
So I'm just saying right now, don't even bother with the tier list because we're not going to agree.
Because there's only
you
three
can't
good
even
zombie
remember
movies.
the name of the movie that you love.
Imagine, guys, can we just like imagine how pissed Justin will be if we all just agree except him, so he has to take our shit takes on zombie movies.
Yep.
It's gonna be a great episode.
I accept this episode. 2 weeks.
Anything to make
already
someone
getting
mad.
voted out
Because there's only 3 good zombie movies. Boom! There you go.
Okay, I mean the Dawn of the Dead remake. What are the other 2 you're gonna die on? Like
I'm not Dawn of the Dead remake. That was him.
No. So what are your 3?
Oh,
let's do it.
Shaun of the Dead.
Okay.
Really good.
Zombieland.
Okay.
And
Ben's already squirming because Zombieland had too many jokes. So
yeah.
I liked Zombieland, but I wouldn't watch it again. Say
Train to
Zombieland.
Busan has to be up there.
I haven't seen the old ones, like the George Romero ones, in a long.
Night of the Living Dead is a classic.
I know, but it's in black and white, and I'm not watching it because it's.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't seen any of the old ones because they're black and white.
It's the only one. The other ones are in color.
Yeah. The
they're all old.
Was worth it. So
they're all old. I don't know. I'll come up.
I think
I'm securing that list for myself now.
Well, do you like 30 Days of Night?
The Dragon.
We should probably finish the Dragon movies. If you want to get it done before the episode ends. We can do a zombie thing.
Listen, one of these is the top of A tier at worst, and the other one's S tier. So we're good. We're easy.
Right. That's why I want to get the only one that the director is. She's the only one. That
I would put it between. I would put in middle of C myself because I enjoyed this one more than Rhea.
Fuck that. There's no way.
I'm gonna fight it too, but bottom of C at best if that's where you're going for.
I mean, it's worth watching. Just don't have high expectations. Just that makes sense.
Sure. I mean, yeah, the cast is the best expectations. The fact that you haven't heard about this movie is,
So I think Val Kilmer was in this movie, but he was uncredited.
Wow.
But he's in it. He's speaking. He's there for like 2 minutes, and then like he was on some other name or something. Like, but he I don't know if he like tried to pull his credit, but
right. One of those like he did this for a friend movies or something.
Maybe or like he just happened to be working next to it or something. But I can see the humor that they were going for, but they didn't really get it ever.
Westerns would be another good top 10 list. Now that we're speaking about Val Kilmer,
I want to do comedies. I want to see what these two think about an actual funny movie. Like, I want to see where their humor actually hits, where they're just like, so this movie had comedy and it was okay, but this movie was quippy and I fucking hated it, burn it to the ground. Like, I want to know where the middle ground, there's got to be a sliding scale
I
there
will
somewhere, right?
throw in a couple comedies if you throw in a couple comedies. Let's do comedies next time. I'll do that.
No, because I want to have fun, and my comedies aren't.
I don't usually watch much.
There's not going to
comedies,
be
like,
nearly
for-
enough Monty Python on the list.
There's always too much Monty Python.
Oh,
Too
see,
much.
How's that for a hot
What?
take?
I'm now voting against you and everything you say forever and ever. I don't care if I agree with it.
Oh man.
I was already doing that as a joke, but now we're done.
I'm teasing.
No, it's too late. You said the word.
Yeah. You can't
So
take
that
that
went
back.
Some things you just can't take back. You can call Justin an idiot, but you cannot insult Monty Python. That is where I draw the line.
I mean, so the problem is if we're going to include Monty Python, like which one, or is it just going to take over the entire like scope? Because anyway.
No, you could do just one. 'Cause
Um,
I think Holy Grail's the best one. Although I understand why people think Life of Brian, for instance. But
Right.
They're both really good, but I think I
Yeah.
like Life of Brian more, slightly more.
Surprise. So second worst hot takes on the show today.
Blazing
so.
Saddles would have to go on.
Blazing Saddles is a good movie.
Yeah, that's such a great Monty Python movie. So
Well, no, I can't have all the Monty Python movies, so I'm moving on to other ones.
all right. So Mulan top of A, is that what we're doing, or was Mushu
Yeah,
too
yeah,
much?
it's a,
Like,
No,
it's a
no,
solid A
it's
tier.
better than
It-
How You Train Your Dragon. And
I gave them the same numbered rating, but I think it's a little better.
First of all, it's got the banger songs.
It's 8.1 out of 10.
Yes, sure.
I-
I gave
are you
I
sure
gave both of them 8 out of 10.
Are you sure
He
it's not
rides
like?
a panda.
Are you sure it's
Classic
not
funny.
between Pete's Dragon and Never Ending Story? It's kind of just a fine movie coming on the heels of Disney Renaissance.
No, it's
just
better than
another-
How to Train Your Dragon.
It is better than How to Train Your Dragon.
Really?
slightly.
Yeah. Make a Man Out of You makes it better than everything on this
How
list.
about-
except
okay,
Dragon.
I-
okay.
Except
I still
Dragon.
put that song. I
It has
regularly
a-
still put that song on.
We just
It
traded
has
metal
a good
versions
song.
of that song like 3 weeks ago.
It
Last
has
week.
a
Wait, no, it was 2 weeks ago.
it has a good song. Okay.
No, it's got two. The other one's
It's
good too.
also got a good story. It's like I mean,
Yeah.
it's animated well.
Got a great
It's got a-
cast. Scott.
Wait, Ben, was the dragon too funny?
No, it's just another.
She had a training montage, so she.
It's
earned
it's
it.
She had a
another.
couple, honestly.
I would call it the definition of a cookie cutter movie, though, right? It's just another cookie cutter movie. It's another Aladdin, Pocahontas, Little Mermaid, Lion King.
All of those are different
movie.
stories. Those are not cookie cutters of each other. So
They're-
like, just
there's
because
a
they were in the
formula.
Disney Renaissance that you call it, doesn't make
There's-
it cookie
there's-
cutter.
There's definitely a formula
Can you
to
draw
them,
me
though.
the parallels between Pocahontas and Mulan?
Sure.
Singing.
Funny sidekick, songs,
Okay.
love story, central conflict with deep, trying to have this deep kind of moral allegory kind of thing. You know, deep messaging, heavy messaging.
So
Let's
so
see.
it's templated, but the
Yeah, it's a
ingredients.
template. That's
are
what I'm
wildly
saying.
different.
That's what I'm saying, right? And you get the as with Lion King, Little Mermaid, especially Aladdin, you get the comedy guy playing the sidekick as the comic sidekick played by a real stage comedian. That Tarzan did that too, although Tarzan had fewer songs. Really, it did the songs differently, I should say.
Tarzan had arguably.
Tarzan is way worse than Mulan.
I could see that. But I think it's kind of still.
As a story.
How could you guys do
There's-
Brendan Fraser like that? Seriously. Oh wait, sorry.
That's
Not
George
that
and the Jungle.
Tarzan.
And George and the Jungle is better than George and the Dragon. If we're doing our list of George
Probably.
movies,
Yeah. That's a tier list of Georges.
S tier
I'm not
movie.
seeing
That
George
is
and
going to be a
Jungle.
weird ass tier list, that's for sure.
Listen, we could do it, and George and the Jungle is S tier. I'm calling it right now.
So wait, the Madness of King George. Oh, there's another one. Let's see here. The name of the king and the king's speech, George.
Yeah, this is above.
But does it have to have
Yeah.
George in the title?
Oh, okay, fine.
You might understand how this works. So yeah, Mulan's top of 8 here. Done. And then we get to the best movie on the list.
Tours. I don't like it.
So,
It feels wrong.
Yeah, but when it's right, it's so right.
So where are we putting Mulan?
Top of A, I guess.
I think top of 8. Only dissenting opinions from his Ben. It seems like.
Yeah, in his
I
opinion.
mean, there's 3. So I don't know. I liked the humor in Mulan. So that's
Yes,
why
I
was gonna
liked the
say it,
humor
so.
in Mulan. It had some.
Just because you don't like the jokes doesn't mean they're not jokes. Like,
Oh no, they can be jokes, but they can be bad, and I can rate them badly for it. We did have finally have a long discussion about why I don't like Joss Whedon, and it's probably something to do with that of why I didn't like Raya, maybe, or maybe it was just felt too current, too like current reference pop
Anachronistic.
culture.
oh, so
Yeah.
you guys
don't
are hipsters. God damn! Why did that take me so long to figure that out?
Am I hipster?
Hipsters?
It's
Look
Yeah,
at their
it's
beards.
too current. That's literally the definition. That's like the hipster mantra.
it's-
That's your battle
no,
cry.
it's
It's too current. It's
No,
popular.
there should be a timelessness.
Ultra-
Fairy stories should have a kind of timelessness to them. That's why so many of them written in the 19th century were set in the medieval Europe. Right? There's some kind of uncertain timelessness to them. People can still talk like people. People still have modern kind of relationships, but the words they use and the phrases they use, it should be written in the style of.
Well, I think they should be written in.
But do you think they knew that at the moment?
I
Do you
don't know.
think they put it down on paper and they were like, "Man, this shit's gonna be timeless." I hope these
I think
assholes
so.
are still arguing about it. In
Oh, I think so.
2022.
I think it was largely deliberate.
Yeah.
Did we get to Dennis Quaid's last good movie?
Really? The last
I don't know.
one?
People like Frequency.
I don't know if he
I
made a
remember
good
Frequency
movie
being
after
good.
that I've seen.
Frequency was kind of a trip.
Yeah, it was weird, but I remember enjoying it.
I
And
don't.
people
I
like
don't
the
think I've
Rookie
seen
too,
Frequency.
because for some reason.
I've not seen Frequency.
The Day After Tomorrow. Come on, man. That
Oh,
that's
yeah.
great.
I've seen that. That is not better than Dragonheart. I don't even think
No.
Dennis Quaid's
I-
very good in that movie.
But are you saying that it wasn't good? I didn't say it was better than Dragonheart. I'm just saying.
I'm saying
You said it was
I'm
his
saying
last
that
good
was-
movie, right?
I would say that's a 4 out of 10.
I was going to say, I think The Day After Tomorrow is quite entertaining, but it is not
Yes.
good.
It's
I
entertaining.
enjoy that movie. It's not
He was
a good
in
movie.
Legion.
He was in what?
Yeah, that was
Legion.
not a good movie.
He was an extra in Stripes. That was his last good movie.
Yeah, that's older, Ben. We're talking about
We're looking after Dragonheart.
he did Any Given Sunday. Was that after Dragonheart? So
I don't
I'm
think
just
so.
saying your timeline might be a
Maybe
little
it was.
wonky.
I don't know.
It's after Dragonheart, but I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
The hell is
He
Dragonheart?
really doesn't
Okay,
like The Parent Trap.
Fuck is Pandora?
He
Parent
saw
Trap?
this movie
No.
and he was like, all right, Dennis Quaid, you've peaked. I'm never watching another movie.
Oh, Pandorum.
Right.
Pandorum was good. That one. Yes, Cody.
Never saw it.
Thank you.
Let's see.
So,
I haven't watched
It's
it.
not
so I don't know.
it's not after Dragonheart, but everybody should watch Undercover Blues unless you guys like funny movies, or don't like funny
Oh wait, I
movies,
have seen
'cause there
Pandora.
are
You think
jokes
that
in
was
one.
good?
Pandorum was good.
Let me just
Watch
5
Undercover
out of 10.
Brother, too.
Join us next time when we rate Dennis Quaid movies. So.
No, George movies first.
If we can have a list of them, it's like
Honestly, I feel like his movies are all over the place, right? Like, it's not like you get some that are like, okay, this guy mostly does action or inexplicably does a lot of sci-fi or something, like when we were talking about Jean
Dennis
Reno
Quaid
and
does
his
movies.
weird dichotomies. Yeah, right.
Nicolas Cage does
He's
whatever
been
the
in some
fuck he
movies.
wants.
He's been in some movies.
That's about
He's-
the thing you can say about
That's
him.
another list we're
So-
going to have to do with Nicolas Cage movies someday.
oh god.
Oh yes,
Oh,
that would
I
be
can't.
great.
Yeah.
No,
That
No.
would be great.
Okay,
I saw what happened to
So we
Abed.
just
Don't
gonna-
do that to me.
we're gonna have to rate which part of the F tier that they belong on, right? Is this F plus or F minus? F
No, we
double
could
plus?
do his ridiculous good movies also.
There's the
Like
there's the
Like
ridiculous
Face
movie.
Off is S tier. I don't care what anyone.
Face Off is high up there at least. Con Air high up there.
Sorcerer's
Yeah.
The Rock
Apprentice.
high up there.
Next,
No, Sorcerer's Apprentice is not as good as those other two.
Gone in 60 Seconds.
Gone in 60 Seconds is closer.
Pretty decent.
What was the one with the island and Sean Connery? Why can't The Rock? There
Oh,
we
The
go.
Rock
I was
is
like,
great.
it's
Yeah,
just
The Rock.
2 words.
The Rock is so good.
You were gonna make me stab this in my heart. Okay, so
There's
is
a
anybody
great-
fighting about Dragonheart?
No, that's
Dragonheart.
Got
straight to the top. Of the
35
list.
Nostalgia
minutes.
fest.
I think you
I
guys
watched it
are
5
drunk on
times as a
nostalgia.
kid.
I mean, this movie was fine. It was enjoyable. It was
Yes, we are
good,
drunk
but
on
it
nostalgia,
had
but it's
problems.
Yes, but it's great, so I don't care.
You know that this movie
It did
had
have problems.
Connery's a dragon.
Yes,
did have
the dragon
problems, so
was
it didn't-
fine.
I didn't give it a 10 out of 10. I gave it 9 out of 10.
Listen,
so I don't know if
when
that's
David
S tier or just the
Lewis
highest
is
of A
going
tier.
ham in a movie, you've except Wonder Woman because that was bad ham, but he was entertaining as hell.
Okay, are we realistically going to knock this out of S tier for the two people that are?
I'm not.
Define
No.
the
They
fighting
could.
for
They
it.
could
No,
have.
I'm-
You guys fought about
I
Riot
really-
for 20 minutes. This is going in S tier.
I really like it. I'm just saying I gave it 9 out of 10, so I don't know if I can say S tier when I said 9 out of 10.
I
Right,
don't
yeah,
care.
this
It's
movie
S
has
tier.
problems.
I'm saying it.
So
I
that's
bring your vote up.
if like a 5 gets you in like B or a C tier, right? Like
Yeah.
1 and 2 is S tier,
Wow.
then 3 and 4.
Yeah, sure.
then-
S tier. S tier.
I-
Let's
I-
go.
A plus, S minus. I think it's
Goes
better
into
than
the
Mulan.
stars
Oh
at the
darn!
end.
It made it to the S minus.
Nice.
That's rough. If only we had found any other dragon movie that was better than this. Like,
Listen, think all the movies where the people like they turn into stars at the end, right? You have the Lion King, the
this one
kings
really
go
set
into
up
the
Sean
stars.
Connery's career.
You have Dragonheart, the dragon goes into the star. Shrek, all the ogres are up there in the stars. All S tier movies.
What? What are you talking about?
There's a theme here. There's a pattern. If you become part of the
Oh.
So there you
stars,
go,
Did you just-
Ben. That's how you can decide something's timeless. When
Did you just
it.
make
just
that?
gotta
I feel
make
like you just made
the
that
hero
up.
go to
no,
the
that
stars.
happens in all three of those. Remember, ogre, Donkey and him are talking about how they're the ogre constellations, and Mufasa talks about
I don't
the
remember
kings of
the-
old and
the-
stars.
Yeah, I don't
ogre
remember
thing.
Ogre Constellation.
I remember Mufasa, sure.
All right, you people need to rewatch that movie because it's when it's at night when Fiona's in the cave and they're out there talking. And they're
Oh
pointing
no,
out-
you're right. You're
I
absolutely
remember
right.
Constellation.
I know I'm right.
I don't remember.
Hey now, so what
Ogre
you're
one.
saying? Hey now. So what you're saying is you're an all-star?
No.
Get your game on and go.
This is why. See, this is the thing. I can't trust your opinions on comedy because you're you.
He could clearly not choose the cup in front of him. So
Okay.
yeah.
Let's see here.
Hercules, they do the constellation things at the end. Great movie.
Wow, we got some really weird ass tier lists coming up. So.
I'm just saying. So movies that end with people going up into the stars is pretty strong so far. I got 4 movies here.
I mean, it makes sense. It's why I like science fiction so much. You got Interstellar, you got Apollo 13, you got, they all
Yeah.
went up into the stars.
Interstellar's stupid. The Power of Love solves that movie.
Yeah, like.
Hmm?
Wait,
The Power of Love
Wasn't
didn't
that
solve The
Hercules
Martian.
too?
no, I was Back to the Future. I was gonna say Back to the Future. Anyway,
That's The Power of Love.
That's the
Isn't that what you just said?
of love.
Yeah, but I said it with a different inflection. That makes it.
oh,
different.
I see. So totally different. So
Yes.
would you rate The Power of Love above or below The Power of Love?
The Power of Love is much better than The Power of Love.
I see.
And neither one of those are better than the first Power Rangers movie.
We could be current and do Will Smith movies.
We
No,
could.
Thank you.
no.
That would be topical.
No, thank
That
you.
would be topical.
Unfortunately, though, he probably is going to get a mention through, like we'd have to include I Am Legend, right, for zombie movies. So make you guys watch that one.
Isn't that Vampire too?
It's not vampires.
Yeah,
You
they're
guys,
vampires.
you guys are so freaking ridiculous.
No, but
I am
I'm pretty sure it's
that's the
vampires.
distinction is that they're vampires.
Why? Because they blister in the sun.
Mm.
Because I think they're vampires in the source material. I think I read the book
That's
once
certainly
upon
not a
time.
mark against it.
Are we going to judge the movie based off of the source material? Because I think we're going to need to make some adjustments for a lot of things if that's the case. So, just saying.
Listen. That and
We'll-
30
we'll
Days a
have
Night are
to-
vampire movies, as far as I am aware. Well, 30 Days a Night is definitely a vampire movie.
That is definitely a vampire movie. Yes.
Man, the CGI in I Am Legend was so bad. I'm looking at some pictures now. Ooh.
What are you
The
doing?
double level.
I know, right?
I just get a list of movies you guys haven't seen. That
I don't
you've
even
probably seen
You
recognize
guys
Ghostbusters.
haven't seen Galaxy Quest? I just watched Galaxy Quest like a month
Good.
ago.
We
Good,
rated
okay.
it. It
It's
was
a perfect movie. We didn't
And
have to
Ghostbusters is
stop
on
it.
all the time.
Right.
Ghostbusters. I feel like I've seen
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters once or
Good.
twice.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's an old movie. I don't know. It seems like you guys
Are,
haven't seen
are
it.
these
Yeah, but
your
it's in
comedy
color.
picks? Is that what
These
you're
are
doing?
comedy picks. These are comedy picks.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
Arsenic
going
and
to
Old
say,
Lace.
at least two of these
Old
have to be in black
Ghostbusters?
and white.
Exactly 2 of them are in black and
Yeah,
white.
of
Mr.
course
Blanding
they are.
Spills His Dream Home. Phenomenal movie. One of Cary Grant's best.
I don't
Being There. Galaxy Quest. Yeah,
You
so
can
it's
put
a-
Young Frankenstein on. That counts because even though it's in black and white, it's
I
Mel
can't
Brooks.
wait till it gets to like Men in Tights, Robin Hood Men in Tights, or
Oh, we could do Mel Brooks movies. That'll be a way. That'll
Naked
be a
Gun
bottom heavy
2.5.
list, though.
I was going to say
Hot
that's
Shot.
there's like 4 movies. They're great, but there's 4 of them.
No, there's like a dozen. There's like a dozen Mel Brooks comedies. Like High Anxiety is bad. It's bad.
Right, but I'm saying
12
as far as
Chairs
good ones.
is okay. Well, okay, yeah,
Good
it's a good one.
There's
That's what I'm
Blazing
saying.
Saddles,
That's what I'm
there's
saying.
Young Frankenstein, there's The History of the World, and there's Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Forget about producers, I guess.
I never really liked The Producers.
Really?
I mean, it's okay, but it's
Hmm.
not top of the list. Are we done?
Was
Did
it-
we finish?
I think that's the only reason.
what
Mel
else
Brooks
is
is one of the
Cher
few people to
anyway?
get like a Grammy, a Tony, an Oscar. Was a couple other things.
What the
That's all because mostly because of the producers.
I don't know if he's a German Oscar. But I don't care. Oh yeah, Spaceballs. That's it. So 5. That's a solid 5. Are we done now? Can we
I
go on?
guess so. Natural conclusion.
Well,
of
is
this
anybody
stop
going to
sign.
plug anything? I mean, we got nothing to talk about here. We're just
Oh.
sitting here dead air.
Watch Arsenic and Old
I
Lace.
got this thing on my list that's not on there, but whatever.
Oh yeah, where are
Away
you gonna
was
rank
good.
it? Where would you rank it?
Spirited
No one
Away?
cares.
Oh,
Spirited
no
Away
way.
is overrated.
No way.
It's okay. It just
That's
wasn't
I
Plus-
still have never actually finished watching Spirited Away.
Well, that's
Oh,
where the
super.
dragon is anyway at the end.
It's not my
No,
favorite Miyazaki.
he's there throughout the movie.
No,
He's
I
seen
much
not in
prefer-
dragon
I
form.
much prefer
He's
the
mostly
Fat
just a
Shadow
kid.
person thing.
No, you see him in dragon form pretty early in the movie.
Now,
Like within
He's the most
Miyazaki.
dragon at the end. It's like
Miyazaki movies.
Dark
We
Souls.
could rank those.
yes, let's rank all the Miyazaki games from Soft Games. Let's go.
Dark Souls is better than Spirited Away, and I've never even played it.
Is it better than Elden Ring?
They're
Are we
different.
plugging Elden? Very different.
Elden Ring looks fun. It's the first
It
game in
is-
probably 15 years I've ever been like, maybe I'll actually buy that, but then I would have to buy a PC, and I'm not doing that.
Or a PS2 or whatever.
I'm not buying any other thing. If I had the game system already, I would, but I don't because I don't play video games.
Elden Ring is beautiful and weird and wonderful and fun. And it's easy for me to say that because I'm not actually the one with the controller. I just get to watch him.
And
Right.
of all the
Yeah,
gameplay
I
I've
like
seen,
watching it, but
there's not a single joke or quip in it.
That
Not
is true.
one.
There's a couple of funny things, but they're not exactly jokes.
I think that's mostly the gameplay.
Well, have you heard of Alexander the Pot? It's great.
I appreciate the naming scheme where it was like there's Godfrey to this one, and then you randomly find Godefroy, who's the same fucking thing, but it's just like a meme
Yeah,
name.
there's Astel the Unborn and Astel the Starfallen or something like that. It's fucking
the
weird.
same dragonfly, eldritch lizard thing, and they reused
Elden
a
Ring
lot of
is-
things in that game.
I've
Apparently,
seen a little bit where like they have like quest monsters, but then they'll repurpose them as dungeon monsters at
Yeah,
times or something
basically.
like that, and put a slight
Sort of.
spin on them.
Sort of. Well, there's also the idea that this person might be multiple people.
well, yeah,
and-
you could, but that that seems to only be done twice to any kind of effect on the story, right? Because there's the guy at the Erd Tree who was one of the earlier ones, Margit the Fell, and then whatever he fucking turns
Yeah,
into
they're
later.
Margit and Margot, which they're either the same person. Yeah, I think they are the same person, but
They are the
Margot
same
was a
person.
twin of Mog, I think. Yeah.
Right.
Been paying too much attention to that family tree.
See, and these are for people who didn't even play the game.
Right?
Are you ever going to end this episode, or are we just going to keep?
You know, I don't know.
End it.
All right. Bye.
We can almost do